This is Ike Feldman with CBS Sports Radio's Outside the Cage. I'm joined mid-class with the great Duane Ludwig. Duane, how you doing, man?
Doing good, sir. Doing good. Good. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it. We got that on camera. He likes me now prior to the interview.
Prior. Let's see how the questions go, right?
But it's fight week. It's the UFC's 25th anniversary. Been going around asking everybody this. What have you seen change the most since '93, or what would you like the future to be like in martial arts? I mean, it's a big question, but dude, you've been a UFC fighter involved. You're training UFC champions. You're training the youth of martial arts. What have you liked the most of the 25 years, and what can't you wait to see in the next 25?
It's nice to see martial arts more understood and accepted, and to see the benefits that come from it. From the benefits as far as the spiritual inner development, the self-mastery. Obviously, the physical fitness, the self-defense is always good, but to be tested in each class or in the ring or in the cage against a formidable opponent, when you actually face across from somebody and have to have your spirit overcome their spirit, your soul fight their soul, you learn a lot about yourself. And with people having that experience on a mild form in the dojo or in the academy or gym or whatever you call it, for them to experience that is an enlightening moment for most people. And there's no other way to have that same experience happen other than to actually try to overcome someone else's being, soul. You know, if there's something on the line and it's not an actual sport but your own physical contact, whether it be jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing, kickboxing, mixed martial arts, with something in the combative forms that you need to beat somebody, you learn a lot about yourself. And I think that trial is something that the world needs. There's so many people today that seem as if we live in a watered down society where people are getting too offended too easy, and they just don't have, I feel, enough backing within their soul, within their own being, to stand up for themselves. So they run and hide and want to point fingers and complain rather than handling business. And I think if they faced more adversity in a controlled environment with some true leaders, then they would learn and grow to another level. And I'm just on the same path, right? Mama, Kira, sweetie, Kira, Mama. We got a little baby playing. So we are the family dojo, but sometimes we're doing interviews and then we got the little girl.
Do some play-by-play. She's playing some fun game on the iPhone.
She's playing the UFC game, so I might have to let her just go ahead and do that. Or she might be on the Bang Muay Thai Online Academy. So let me, can I pause this?
Yeah, no problem. Beauty of editing. So that was a lot to unravel. You're saying that you find out a lot about yourself, and maybe we need more of that in today's age with people get to be this fake person behind social media. I say it all the time, sticking with the spiritual and the mental. A lot of people, they just think, oh, pick the guy with the 8-pack or the biggest traps that he's going to win the fight. I mean, obviously on our show, we like to do picks and be fun and try to pretend we know who's going to win. But it's like, you see Stipe Miocic, he's the coolest guy during fight week. Something turns on, something changes from when it's the weigh-in times to when it's fight night. Can you take us through what the fighter's feeling from when we see him at 4 o'clock on the weigh-in show to when it's prime time, it's 10, 11 o'clock at night, and he's got
What they're probably feeling is a lot of anxiety and fear, and well, but I don't know how other people are feeling, but as far as for myself, experience, it's a lot of anxiety. There's fear involved because it's the unknown. You're not quite sure what's going to happen. Of course, everybody trains their butt off and has a game plan for the most part, and somewhat of a understanding of what's going to take place, but really you don't know. So when the referee says, "Are you ready?" you can say yes, you can say no, but you really don't know if you're ready until after the fight's over. Then that's the point when you know if you were ready or not. You can be as confident as you want, but until the fight's over, you don't quite sure what's going to happen. And I've been obviously on both ends of that spectrum, so that's why it's kind of a first-hand experience. But the main thing is, for me, it was fear, but obviously you're going to have some confidence and belief and make sure you know what's going to happen. But the dark, the unknown, that's scary, and that's just for every human being. But you got to have, to be a complete human being, you got to be the warrior in the garden. You got to be able to pick up the kids and play nice and give them a bottle and snacks and take care of people, but then you also got to be able to fuck people up too, and to have that ability is nice. The people who don't have that ability and who are actually scared but act tough, don't have the ability, are the ones that like to stir shit up. So it's an interesting coincidence that happens, but to be the warrior in the garden is my pursuit, to be nice when I need to be nice, and to be an asshole when I need to be an asshole, and it's just the way it should be. And to be an asshole when it's the right time to be an asshole, right? To actually fight and put your effort into overcoming an obstacle or an opponent or whatever it may be. And an opponent, because an opponent could be many things.
You would be a pretty good asshole then. You know, you had a very solid career. It was fun, man. Was it the 6-second or 7 knockout that got you the nickname Bang, or did you have that before then?
I had that before then. My first name's Duane, so Duane and Bang rolls together. Doesn't necessarily rhyme, but they roll together. And nobody in combat sports in history has ever had the name Bang that I was aware of. And I studied the arts pretty in depth, and there wasn't anybody who had the name Bang, which I thought was a little confusing. I thought somebody would grab that name by now. There's Bam and Bam Bam and things, right? But there weren't no Bangs, so it rolled well.
It's coming to her.
So I took it, right? Now there's a couple more floating out there, which is good, but I was the first that I'm aware of.
This is kind of, you know, I discovered martial arts because I had a lot of energy. Did you discover it from just mental serenity, or were you bullied as a youngin', or was it just the only sport that clicked with you?
Well, it was the only sport that clicked with me. Grew up in a environment where fighting was accepted and okay, right? So when you fight and you have people around you that are, you know, your peers, and you resolve differences by fighting, you think that's just the way to go. And fighting was scary, and you watch it on TV and movies and stuff. And so I wanted to make sure that I could fight and understand what's going on to protect myself and those around me if I need to, right? So it was a necessity out of fear, to be honest. And then it was the pursuit to see how far I could take it and win some world titles. And I set a goal for myself when I was 15 that I was going to be a kickboxing world champion, and actually won a mixed martial arts world title before my kickboxing world title. And I remember when the first UFC started here in Colorado, I remember watching them and thinking, man, can we swear on this? I already swore.
Yeah, you already did it.
Fuck that. Like, I remember watching UFC, I was like, hell no. Like, there's no way I would do that. And then fast forward a couple of years, you know, I'm fighting in the UFC, so it was just kind of funny. But, you know, winning a MMA world title before my kickboxing world title was an interesting point in my life, because when I won the kickbox or the MMA title, it just was like, meant nothing to me. It's like, nah, it's not what I set out to do. I set out to win a kickboxing world title. So a couple fights after that, I actually fought a kickboxing world title match and won that. And then I felt a good weight has been lifted off of me. A lot of my motivation died, and was just wanted to sit back and step away from martial arts for a while. So it's interesting when you set goals and accomplish them, that I felt my motivation just dive, you know. And you know, next thing you have K1 calling you and wanting you to fight John Wayne Parr, and you're like, shit. Like, so you got to make sure you plan accordingly. You know, you can't take a break when you have a promotion, when you're assigned with the promotion, I guess. You know, it's not up to you, it's up to them when they're going to fight. So lessons to be learned. So now I'm taking these lessons and paying them forward, which is what sensei means, a history teacher, you know, from those who've come before you. So for me to take all these past lessons and pay them forward now, it's a new rebirth, right? To live through these guys and live through like TJ Dillashaw and people who have the strong desire and will to fight and be a world champion. To live through them is a reward, but also the day one average people, the civilians who come in for just general fitness, and you see them lose weight, and you see them bound the mat, and you see them improve, and you see the flowers grow and blossom. Like, that's a good reward as well. All my students are like my children to me. To see them do better is nice, but you know, I want to see them strive and improve and get better. And when people actually come in and just want to like fuck off and not actually get better, and just kind of, I kick them out. You know, I teach martial arts. I want people to grow and get better, and not to necessarily waste their time or mine. So when they come here, they need to focus and improve. And they thank me for it. There's very few people I've had to kick out. I've been here 4 years now, and it's less than 10 people that I shouldn't say kicked out, but I asked them to leave. You know, this may not be the best place for you. So
hopefully 11's not today.
11's not today, right? So we'll see how it goes. But the class isn't over yet. But just want to, you know, it's nice to have a skill to pay back forward now, right?
Amazing, man. Again, we're being joined by Duane Ludwig, owner of Ludwig Martial Arts. Is it Ludwig Martial Arts or Muay Thai?
Martial Arts, Ludwig Martial Arts.
I saw a BJJ on the schedule now.
Yeah, we have jiu-jitsu as well. We're a complete mixed martial arts. We're a martial art academy, right? So we make sure we cover all the spectrums. If you're standing, you got to handle yourself there to get it to the ground or to avoid the ground. Or we have the wrestling, and then when you're on the ground, we have jiu-jitsu. So offense and defense, the full complete spectrum, right? And I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because there's Shotokan karate from Gichi Funakoshi. He brought it from Okinawa to mainland Japan. And one of his students is Masuyama, and he created Kyokushin, which means the ultimate truth. And Shotokan with Gichin, they're more focused on forms and katas. And his student, Masuyama, wanted to have more contact. So he called his style Kyokushin, which again means the ultimate truth. And that's a big thing in my mind because I'm curious on why he chose that to be the ultimate truth, because in that style there's no face punching and no groundwork. So then how can he call it the ultimate truth? Unless because he had actual contact with the student. He wanted to have the students actually fight each other. So when they actually fought each other, I think that's when they felt their true spirit come out, when they had to face a formidable opponent, which I talked about earlier. So I think once you face somebody and you have to like beat them, then you find out your true self, hence the ultimate truth. I'm thinking that's where Masuyama was alluding to. But I want to make sure, like, my path of martial arts is to share what I feel is the true essence of martial arts, the inner development, but also have no holes in your game to be able to fight and defend yourself standing up, to take it to the ground or to defend the takedown, or to, while you're on the ground, to be successful there as well, to make sure that the full spectrum of a fight can take place and you will be in a safe position in all aspects, is my goal with all our students here.
It's beautiful, man.
And sorry, my brain jumps around.
No, I feel you. Welcome to my wife's world.
Kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling. That's why it's all taught here, because as me as a martial artist, if I'm teaching just kickboxing and someone goes out there and they're badass, but they get into a street fight and they fall on the ground, they can't handle themselves, that's my responsibility. Well, I can't make them do jiu-jitsu and wrestling, but the service is provided here because that's what I feel I need to be doing as a martial artist, is perpetuating the arts, and the arts is the full spectrum of a fight, standing and on the ground.
Well, 4 years in, you're saying you got from the ground to the head in defending yourself. Seems like you're really established. You got everything going. You got matching chairs with the mats. That's a pretty high goal.
I had to special order these mats from Germany, so that they didn't carry these orange mats at that time. Now they carry them, but I made sure I hustled and I put together enough chips to put this dojo together in the correct format to be a safe, clean environment.
Nice. It's smart. Well, my question is, was it hard to transition, man, from getting your hand raised in like the ultimate proving ground of combat sports, the UFC, to now teaching the young? And it seems like you got a passion. It seems like it was an easy transition.
Yeah, easy transition. I've been doing this since I was 8. I'm 40 now, so 32 years of my life I've been involved deeply into martial arts. Like, this is literally my life, and I chose it. It chose me. Is what I'm supposed to be doing. Is
40, you look great.
I'm trying. Thank you, sir. Maybe some spaceship CBD is good, healthy living. That's another thing too. Is I'm pretty lean. I still have a six-pack. I'm 40 years old. I still work out a little bit. So it's I don't have I should be leading by example. So I still work out. I eat clean. I drink good clean water, juices. I'm not no beer. I don't drink any alcohol. Pretty straight edge. Spaceship though, marijuana. I smoke weed. That helps me. I feel that helps me anyway. So everything I do, most of the things I do have a purpose behind it. And again, with me being a martial artist and a leader, I need to make sure I'm leading by example. So whatever I do in the case that others around me should be doing it as well, up to a certain age. Obviously, marijuana kids can't be doing that shit. And I wasn't smoking weed until after I was done fighting, to help me slow down and actually assess what's going on. And the ultimate proving ground, which you mentioned earlier, I've proven I can perform the drills and combinations myself. Now through my students, I've proven that being an instructor and a teacher and a sensei, I can correctly share the information as well. And that's been a test to myself. I've done it myself, but can I teach it and share it and have my students do it? Well, answer is yes on that as well. So those are just tests for myself. It's not done for interviews and sponsors and things like that. It's done just for a true test of myself.
Thank you, man. Two more real quick. It's don't take this as an insult. I'm a complicated guy. I feel like you're a lot to unravel. My wife gets confused. I'm like, no, men are more complicated than you think. I go, 2,000 years ago, we might have been warrior. Now we have to deal with this concrete jungle, and we have to form that energy into something else.
Same rules apply. I think no matter the time, whenever it was, Babylonian times till now, the same rules apply of being an honorable man, leading by example, helping out, giving back, uplifting, and inspiring is what people should be doing. Carrying as much responsibility as they can. This dojo just didn't appear itself. You know who helped me open this? Me. I hustled my ass off. I stacked the chips and I made this happen so it could be a good positive environment for people. So I just think that's what people should be doing, is helping out and giving back. And that's exactly why I've put my ass on the line for this building for the last 4 years. This motherfucker cost me $8,000 a month, but I'll pay that. Actually, that's just the expenses, like not including staff, and everything. This cost me $17,000 a month, but I'll step up and I'll make that happen just so I can have a positive place for people to come to learn and grow. This is my service back to the world. So past times up till now, people should be helping out and giving back. So here we go.
Fantastic.
Complicated man, but I didn't let you finish your question.
No problem. I gotta let you get it out, man. It's speaking.
Hopefully some of this information can help people.
Yeah, I feel it, man. You're helping me. So you've obviously helped TJ transition to this great, fantastic UFC champion. And like I was saying before, you're a lot. Is it hard to find somebody to like receive your message? Is he is he the best student that's picked up your?
By far the best, most coachable athlete I've ever been around. He is an example of US. US is OSU. It's correctly spelled OSU. It means to push and to endure. It means to hide your ego and accomplish the goal at hand is what that means. It's been thrown around a lot. It's just like, something cool to say, and people don't really understand its original meanings and what it means. Yeah, just how it is. It's fine. But he's an epitome of push, to push and to endure. And when I trained, I was no pussy when I trained. Like, I went after it. But compared to how TJ trains now versus how I used to train, he makes me train like it makes me look as if I was a pussy. No. And I ain't no fucking pussy. TJ is by far the most committed athlete I've ever been around in any sport ever. And I've been doing this my whole life. There's a reason why he's a champion. It's not just because of me. A small portion of that, his will, his desire, his work ethic, his wrestling, his parents, the way they upbringed him. His jiu-jitsu coach, his wrestling coach, his strength and conditioning coach, his nutritionist. He has a complete package around him, and it shows. And then that guy, there's a reason why he's a champion. It's many aspects to why he's a champion, but his will and his desire, his focus, his hunger, again, the way he pushes and endures to get better it's thrown around a lot, but it literally is second to none.
Let me cut you off there, because you named a lot of stuff on the exterior. Maybe the people who watch the countdown shows, they come to this gym, they throw on beautiful lighting, they see a beautiful technique and a nice hit and pad session. But dude, tell me exactly what happens behind the cameras. How can TJ pick up, what do you see spiritually, mentally that separates him?
Just his will, his desire to be successful. Whatever he chose to do, he would be the best at it. That's for sure. I took my same desire to be a world champion, and I'll put that energy and that focus into running my business and helping TJ become a champion. So just any world champion, as long as they still keep that fire and that desire, they can put that same energy and focus into any other endeavor, which is TJ's case. And he chooses it to be into martial arts, and look at what he's done. He's, again, by far the most committed guy I've ever been around in any aspect of business or martial arts or any endeavor. He is fully committed. When he trains, and I'm just training him, I train him. I'm his trainer, I'm his friend, but also I'm his fan, and I just sit back and I'm just man, this is, because do you know what it takes to be a champion?
No.
A lot of people don't know, and it's not like, okay, it's this, and this. I study TJ and I look at TJ and I'm like, man, that's what it takes to be a champion. I was able to be a champion, but I was operating like an 80% level. He's operating at 90 or higher percent level, and it's just crazy. There's levels to this game, and my peak was probably 50% of where TJ's peak is. That guy he's just insane. He literally is insane. It's crazy to see how good of a martial artist a human can become, and that's TJ right now. I think in any time in history, TJ would beat anybody. If they're at his weight, or if he was a heavier weight and he could still perform what he was doing, nobody would beat him at anything. He's just that committed of a guy.
All right.
To succeed.
Are we getting the Cejudo fight next?
I hope so. That'd be good. I hope so. And I'd like for it to be at the 125-pound title, because TJ can make that weight. It's obviously not going to be easy, but he could do it. And it'd be nice to have him be a two-division champion.
They might be cutting that whole division.
Yeah, I don't keep hearing these things, and I'm not sure. So with that being said, here's something that really helps me, helps TJ, helps everybody that I tell them, is to mind your business. We don't know if they're going to cut the division. We don't know when the fight's going to be set. We don't know where it's going to be. What do you know? Well, I do know that I'm going to be fighting, and I know I need to get better. So mind your business and focus on yourself and get better.
And like you said, he's the one who will pick up on that advice the most.
Yeah, for sure. He's very coachable. We come in and we study film. I write things down. We go back and forth. It's not just me like, okay, you do this and this and this. It's, what do you want to do? How does this work? How does this feel? What do you think about this? Like, we collaborate and we work together. So I think coaches need to do that with their fighters, but not all fighters are coachable, because I've worked with plenty of people in the past that I've let go just because they're just not. I'm putting in more fucking effort than them. It's like, come on, guys. So, like, you need to get the fuck on and, don't waste my time. For a fighter to be directly under my wing, they're going to have to be committed. That's for sure.
Amazing. Guys, just a couple minutes with Duane Bang Ludwig. The last thing, man, what can we expect in the next 5, 10, 25 years of the martial artist? People, as soon as the LeBron James comes over to martial arts, everybody thinks we're going to be seeing, like, teching moves in the cage. But I think it's still mental. Like, you're still going to have maybe the guy who can't leap and has the wisdom. Like, I think there will be 40-year-old champions throughout the history of martial arts.
That's how it goes, right? I don't know if there'll be how many 40-year-old champions there'll be like DC, but I think he's a very rare human being down in Cormier. But that's how we are able to carry our messages forward. It's, again, Tensei, history teacher. I'm not at the physical capabilities now to perform how you used to, but mentally I understand a lot more now. So I'm paying that to TJ and giving that to my students and having them run with it, which is what we should be doing, is paying the positive lessons forward, right? So, and it's fun. It gives me purpose in life and desire and fire, and keeps me going. And just having my academy and my family and my friends, and life is good. I'm not pursuing anything but self-mastery.
Fantastic. Duane, thank you so much. Appreciate the time, brother.
Appreciate it, sir.
Got a pound for the cabin. OSU.
OSU. The Brazilian spell OSS. Either way, it's okay. It means to push and to endure. And when some instructors tell their students something, they'll reply back with us, meaning, yes, I understand what you're saying, and yes, I'm going to complete that task. So, us grasshoppers.
Thank you, Duane.
Yes, sir. Thank you, baby.